So how you getting all this done if you and your wife both have full-time jobs? Cause I know people here listening and watching and be
I'll
like,
be honest with you.
I don't have time.
My wife, I salute her. She's a throwback woman. I mean, and I say that meaning like she gets her hands dirty. She really helps me. Yeah. You know, I see a lot of this lately about the soft life and all this. And I'm like, you know, a lot of people, I look in the camera and say this, you know, that's for TV, that's for entertainment. Most of my dudes, most of my homeboys is married and doing good. Most of our wives, they get busy. They work busy. They get grind with us. They help us. They support us. They do a lot with the kids. So, you know, salute to whoever's enjoying soft life, but that's not the reality for most people. It's just not.
So soft life's not it if you're really trying to build something big.
No, that's not a reality. I mean, I think teamwork makes the dream work. And my wife is, salute to her. She really goes the extra step. I mean, like literally, I talk to a lot of the younger guys and they say, man, that's not what's happening for us right now. And I'm like, well, you know, you got to pause. If you need to pause.
Pause. Yeah. Go grab your country girl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You choose the girl. At the end of the day, the girl don't choose you.
Welcome to the No Stingy Energy Podcast, where we talk business, entrepreneurship, relationships, a little bit of health.
Soon we're going to talk about health.
We're going to talk about health. You know what I mean? Yes, indeed. Listen, if you haven't already, make sure you rate, comment, subscribe as you hear different things that relate to you. You know what I mean? But listen, my name is Byron, real estate investor out of Houston, Texas, primarily focused on the wholesale space. Also do a little bit of creative finance, new construction, new to the build to rent space. Definitely excited about that.
And here to stay.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
And I got my co-host O in the building. What's going on?
What's going on? Neil Parker, real estate investor, entrepreneur out of Lafayette, Louisiana. I've been in real estate since 2016, full-time 2020. Do all things real estate too. I'm about to start to build a rent as well. So I'm definitely excited about today's episode. Okay. You about to give us some game that we need.
Yeah, man. We got my guy Gilbert in the building. What's going on, man?
What's up, Byron? What's going on?
Oh, man. Thank you for pulling up.
What's up, man?
Man, ain't nothing, man. Thank y'all for having me, number one. I know,
thank you for showing up, man.
No Stingy Energy is a culture now. You know, it's not just a saying. I mean, it's really what we're about. So I appreciate you guys sharing your platform.
For sure.
No doubt.
Appreciate you coming on for sure.
So Gilbert, if you don't mind, give the people an introduction to who you are for the people who may not know. Okay. They definitely need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Gilbert Okoronkwo. I've been here in Houston since 1998 by way of New Orleans. I grew up in New Orleans, went to high school, elementary school, all that out there. And so came to Houston, went to undergrad here, Rice University, finished up Rice. And it was crazy because I wasn't the greatest student.
You went to Rice?
Yeah, I went to Rice. I played football. I wasn't the greatest student, so that was my end.
Yeah.
That was my end. I'll admit, full transparency. That was my end to the school. But I got to a great city. I mean, Houston was a great city. It was a place where I met my wife. My wife is a great woman. Her family was from Sunnyside, so we would run into each other occasionally, and then it took us a little while, but then we started dating, and we ended up getting married. But the name of our company is Grace Building Company. Nice. So it's named after our daughter. We got a daughter. Her name is Grace, and so we're a development company that we specialize, in income property, specifically like duplexes, ADUs, and we're looking at doing 3, 4, and 5 plus. Things are changing with the city. I think the future for Houston is bright when it comes to, being able to build doors that are not quite like 30, 40 door properties. But if you're on that
Smaller
20,
units.
Exactly, 20 and under.
It's a blue ocean.
Yeah, there's opportunity there. There's a lot of opportunity in front of us. So we're looking forward to it.
Wow. Yeah, because I actually met you through your wife, right?
I think so. I can't remember. It's been a while.
I think she the one connected us because somebody connected me to her, which they were trying to connect me to you. Mm-hmm. And I think
it was too hard to get in contact with him.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what makes y'all build to keep, I'm guessing, instead of build to sell? Because most people just build houses for that quick profit and they go on to the next.
Yeah, and I'll admit, like I did some build to sell too. I think the very first duplex we ever built in Sunnyside was back we started it in 2016. We didn't get started until 2017. And back then, duplexes aren't new to Sunnyside. Sunnyside had duplexes built in the 50s, 60s, even up to 2005 through 2007, right before the Great Recession. But the first duplex we built was build to rent. And obviously, we made some mistakes there. We learned a little bit. We ended up selling it about probably 2 years after holding it. And then I went on a run of selling a bunch of duplexes, new construction. But then, we owned some single family houses prior to that. But, the light kind of went off that, I'm seeing the appreciation happen. I'm seeing the changes happen. And I realized, man, I got to start keeping some of this because I don't want to be that dude to live with regret. So
exactly.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So real quick, you mentioned a couple problems you ran into on that duplex.
Yeah,
what was those
know.
problems?
So, that was like our first construction project. So when it comes to new development, especially for the first timer, we had to, basically get a contractor on board with the bank for them to be able to give us a loan. And so you don't really know how to navigate, picking the right people. And so that's something that came up. So the mistake I made, there was a new development project going on across the street. And I was like, I saw their billboard. So I said, man, I'm going to just call them.
Yeah.
I did it the wrong way, though. I should have called that owner of the house and asked them what their experience was. Because had I talked to her,
she would have
put me down on it. Yeah, she would have told me hell no. To this day, she's still a big time investor in Sunnyside. Shout out to Miss Driver.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So wait a minute. So you had a couple problems with the money side of things, not necessarily, the money and the contractor.
Yes, the money and the contractors. So, typically in construction lending, they give you the money over what they call draws. Same as at rehab or BRRRR, but these particular guys, they were older. They were about like 50, 60. So I figured, I can trust these cats. They, gray hair, I can trust them. And that was a mistake.
Wow.
So what, break it down? What happened?
Yeah. So let's get transparent. This is what happened. So first draw came and I paid them the first draw.
Ooh,
right.
Before the work.
Before the work. I paid them the first draw before the work. And one of the cats ended up taking a trip to the Dominican Republic on behalf of the draw. Yes. And he had a ball out there. So
I'm sure he did with your money.
That's what happened. And that's facts. And so when the project was ready to move forward, they were asking me for more money. I'm like, but wait a minute, the bank isn't going to give me more money because none of this work has been done.
Wow.
So that's what happened.
So how much you think it was, if you remember? I'm sure you.
That first draw was a little over $20,000 back then. So he got his hands on the 20 and took off to the Dominican Republic. Had him a great time.
How much work you think he completed out of that 20?
Oh man, out of that 20, maybe 5. So we
you was
started
out 15.
Behind. Yeah.
So after that, I'm guessing you fired him or y'all kept him or what happened?
Well, we kept going along, and keep in mind, this is right before Hurricane Harvey had happened.
Oh.
So that was an extra damn.
It's hard to find contractors.
It was hard to find contractors because everybody left. They were looking for more money,
and
better
the prices
opportunities.
Go up.
And the price, exactly, for the material had gone up. So that was a great learning lesson. And else it's a lesson because I learned, Gulf Coast, Houston, all the way down to Florida. Hurricane come in and cause any devastation, you might be in some trouble if you're on a construction project.
Yeah, them prices up there.
The prices gonna jump. Everything gonna jump.
Yeah, the prices and the people, the good people, they flock and they go to the bag. And we don't necessarily want to give them the bag. At the time. So
So with all the mistakes, how long did that project take to complete?
That project took us about 16, 17 months to complete. One duplex took about 1.5 years to get done.
Wow.
So exactly. And it was a lot of lessons.
So you ended up having a cash flow that then eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. We ended up having to cash flow it, put some of our money into it. We ended up having to fire them and get an attorney to just make things right. And so, on top of that, we had the attorney expense. And then now I have no experience and now I got to finish to get my certificate of compliance. Right. And I learned a lot of lessons in that.
So this whole project seemed like it was a disaster.
I would say it was an L. It was a disaster, but the silver lining and it was a learning,
But my question in that is, why keep going?
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
the reason we keep going is because of just being resilient. You know, my life and things I've gone through, I know that like when you quit because something goes wrong, even if it's the first time, I mean, that's a mistake. You know, you have to just take the lessons and then just get better the next time.
Did you feel that way currently in going through all that, or you felt that way now?
You know, I felt that way back then too, because as I saw the building kind of going up and things
You was
happening,
getting excited.
I was getting excited. I was proud. You know, you proud. I did something. And so, you know.
Pride of ownership.
Yeah, proud of ownership. And then, you know, I had to get tenants in there. That was the next thing. I was like, man, how do I do that? So it was a lesson for us. It was a big lesson.
So tell me this. So in that moment, right, you looking at all of these disasters take place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you at any time, or matter of fact, let me go with the wife, because usually women gonna go.
Oh, man.
Did the wife say, look,
Absolutely.
man, this ain't for
Let's
you?
go hang this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was a period where my wife was like, you know, stressing on this, like, you know, we aren't rich people. So it was hitting us. You know, we were dipping in credit cards. We were trying to make things happen. And, you know, even more recent cases, stuff like that has happened.
That just happened in business, though.
Yeah, that happens in business. You know, that's part of it. Anybody that tells you they win every time, come on, man.
Yeah.
You ain't doing enough or trying enough. You know, you're not
ain't doing
growing.
no real business.
You ain't growing if you know, don't take hiccups here and there.
So during that time, you was full-time real estate, or you had a full-time job?
No. See, this
What
is
that
the
look
thing.
like?
Misconception. To this day, I'm a W-2 employee.
Okay,
So
okay.
I've always had my W-2. My wife has always had her W-2. But what kind of kicked us into the real estate was before my son was born, 2012, I got laid off. My wife was pregnant. And that's a tough feeling as a man when you, you know, you're laid off from your job, your wife is pregnant, and you feel like, man, I'm not being the provider and protector that I need to be. So in that moment, you know, there were some lows for me, but it pushed me into this entrepreneurship too. Because I promised I would never leave myself that vulnerable again.
So how long did it last, you like without a job?
Me without a job lasted about 8-9 months. Something like that. So
that's
it was a little bit. It was a while.
So how was the mental, man? How was like...
Oh, I mean, it was tough because it really, you know, from a pride and ego perspective, it really puts things in check.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you prideful and egotistical. And then it's like, okay, now I got to dial some of that down and humble myself and, you know, do some things I may not have thought I would have never necessarily done just to help, you know, help us sustain and get through.
Did you have any mentorship at this time, or you just cold turkey?
It was kind of cold turkey, but I did have some guys, older cats I was talking to that were telling me that, you know, sometimes you go through different things. And I was reading books, a lot more books back then, you know, and sometimes when you see something or hear something and resonate with people, it helps because you figure out, man, you ain't alone when you go through different ups and downs. So
You feel alone, though.
Yeah. It's at the time it's a lonely feeling and it's a tough spot, but you know,
you'd be like, man, I'm the only one going through this.
For real.
Yeah.
So real quick, the new construction path. What made you say you just gonna do it? So you didn't have nobody to train you how?
No, I didn't have anybody to train me, but going through that process of
was all the training you need?
It was training. It was on the spot training, and you know, there was some great people along the way that I met in Houston that, you know, once I got through with building that duplex, I mean, I still wanted to, you know, move forward and go on. And so I met some great guys and along the way that, you know, really helped me or showed me some things. And, you know, to this day, I have a lot of respect for them for, you know, how they helped contribute.
Nice. What was the final numbers on that duplex, the first?
The first duplex, so the land wasn't very expensive. The land was about $13,000.
Oh, wow.
And that was for...
And this is Sunnyside?
Yeah, Sunnyside. It
But
was
that
60.
That was a while ago, though.
It was a 60 by 200 foot. It was a big
Whoa.
lot. And one of the mistakes
So you could have put two duplexes on
I
it.
could have put two on it, but I only did one. And that was kind of what set me.
Damn,
all right.
That's another
I
L.
learned. It was another L. Yeah, exactly. Land use wasn't good.
Yeah.
So I didn't do the highest and best use. I didn't know about replatting and the possibilities back then. So, you know, I quickly learned that.
That's going in with no knowledge.
Mm-hmm. No knowledge, no background. But the very next one, we did it right.
So
Damn.
So how much total did you spend on that duplex?
I probably spent between land acquisition, everything else, we probably spent like a good I'd say $205,000, $205 about to build
what
that
appraised
for
for?
land. Well, we held it for like a year.
16 months?
Yeah, about a year and a half. And so by
So
the
the
time
value
we
went
sold
up.
it sold for about $245. Somewhere in there.
Okay.
It's not, you count realtor fees.
Yeah,
So you,
exactly.
you,
And I paid the full. That was another learning lesson. I paid the full realtor
6%.
commission, full realtor. It
so
obviously.
you broke
gave me a
even
lot
or
of-
lost a little bit.
I probably, if you
Made
look at
1,000?
everything, I may have made a little bit, or like, it's like basically just broke even. It
That's
wasn't,
not bad,
it wasn't not bad for
a first deal.
Yeah, it's not bad.
for a first deal and
And
for
no
learning.
mentorship.
But
no
you
training.
learned a lot though.
Oh yeah, I learned a lot in that
long as
process.
you have to-
I
you
learned
ain't really come out
about
of pocket.
people. I had to, kind of take a step back and evaluate myself and what my weaknesses were. And so
Yeah.
when you do that, you know how to, step to people better and approach future situations. So because we all have our weaknesses, even in
For
new
sure.
development, I had my weaknesses. I'm not full transparency. I'm not a do-it-all guy. I'm not a nail and hammer guy. So I needed people with that type of background around me. And so that's what I, started doing after that first lesson.
I love it. Love it.
Damn.
So you transitioned, you did this first deal. It was a disaster.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you still won on it. I wonder what that duplex is worth today. Probably worth.
Oh yeah, that same duplex today is probably worth about $420,000 to $430,000.
Wow.
And the same lady that we sold it to is crazy because she was moving from, I think, Oregon or California,
Yeah.
and she moved to Texas. I think she's a nurse.
Wow.
She's a nurse, so she house hacked with her brother.
Wow, she
I
won.
think they still own it to this day. Oh yeah, she won big. She won big. So
Wow. So if you
absolutely.
would have held on to
You'd
it
have been up
alone,
right now.
you would have still been good.
I would have been up. And then the other part about it, she still has all that in the backyard. If she wants to build like an ADU or something to add value, she has a ton to do
She
that.
got
there.
opportunity.
She absolutely does. Yep.
She hit a lick.
She did. She absolutely did.
So how much equity you think you left on the table by selling all them duplexes that you got?
Oh man,
Because we had a lot of appreciation.
I sold, I would say right now, all those owners have at least $2 million plus in equity to this day. And this just happened between 2017 and now. So just imagine over time how that
Yeah.
adds. So it's crazy.
That's a lot of bread on the table, man.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
So I hear your last name. Can you pronounce that one more time?
Yeah, my last name Okoronkwo.
Where is that from?
So it's a Nigerian last name. I'm Igbo. Where
Oh, so
actually
you
from.
are Nigerian,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
not half.
No, not half. No, my mom and dad, they're both
They're
Nigerian.
both Nigerian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
From Igbo.
Yep.
Wow. You know, it's funny when I
Brian Ebo too?
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, I think I don't know.
Oh,
if
TJ is Ebo.
TJ's Igbo.
What's
I don't know.
TJ's last name?
Tajani?
Tajani. Is TJ?
I don't know. He might
Yeah,
be.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So
Mhm.
you were born in Nigeria?
Yeah, I was born in Nigeria in 1980. My family, we immigrated here in 1981. So, basically 99% of my life I've been here.
God.
But,
Yeah,
we
roots is
still
there.
have the roots. We still have the roots. Still have, a lot of the culture and a lot of the family ties. My uncles, they were raised back home, but,
Gotcha.
a lot of them are here now. So still have that tie. My dad, unfortunately, he was a great man. He died when we were very young. And so that kind of set us up for a lot of different life lessons we would learn too by not having, my father around. A lot of critical moments in life, as a young man, as a young boy.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, trying to figure it out, trying to, make it.
Wow.
How was that growing up without a dad?
When I look back, man, it really lets me know how important fatherhood is now today. Because I think the thing that fathers do for their children, and no knocks on moms, I'm sure they do it too, but fathers give their kids confidence. Dads that are around, they help build confidence. And when I was younger, I
You was looking for
wasn't,
that.
yeah, I wasn't the most confident. I was, I went through a lot growing up in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I got in some trouble that I shouldn't have got into. And so that set me back, so
Yeah.
to say, in different ways. So
What kind of trouble?
So make a long story short, it's pretty bad. So when I was younger, I was fingered as being somebody who committed a crime where a guy ended up getting shot. I wasn't there. I wasn't a part of it, but it also introduced me to how the criminal justice system worked. As a young man, it was very brutal. I'm thinking, the whole time, this is a mistake. I'm going to get out of this. And it just went from, people pointing and IDing me to being arraigned, and, we think we're going to get out of it. No, it goes to trial and, they lay the law down. I was fortunate. I was only a juvenile, but what it did do for me, it just showed me how bad that criminal, you can get railroaded, and it's easy. This is like some old school stuff.
Crazy,
just basically, they rolled up to us. We were at a basketball park at Kenilworth Park in New Orleans East. Me and my friends were playing basketball, and all these police just showed up, and they had a guy with them, and they just walked up to it was him, and him, and so the police just arrested us and
with no proof,
nothing,
no proof,
no conversation, no nothing.
How long you was in jail?
I was in jail for about 3 days.
That's 3 days too long.
It was tough too, because I was 13 or 14.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was 13 or 14. So I was like, it was
and it's random.
Crazy. Yeah, it was random. Very random. I remember the exact date because it was back when the Bulls was big. It was like Jordan versus the Knicks in like the Eastern Conference Finals. It was like May 30th, 1993 or 94. And the crazy part about it, we got arrested at the end of May, but the crime actually happened that previous December. So he was IDing us from something that just happened 6 months ago, but we weren't there.
Wow.
It wasn't us.
And so how did you beat that case?
We didn't beat it. We took the L. I was found guilty.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was found guilty. It was tough for me and my family too. My mom, my siblings, we really are a prayerful family. So, it was tough for us because the judge originally sentenced me to 7 years, but suspended the sentence. And so I was put on probation. It's crazy. A lot of people don't know this. All of high school, I was on probation to the day I left New Orleans. I was on probation and house arrest. I had to check in. Oh, yeah. That to the day I left for college. And so it was crazy. It was a crazy,
So that messed up your childhood, basically.
Yeah, it did a lot. In a lot of senses, it did because, I had a great family support system. So, without that, I would have been, I don't know where I would have been mentally, but it really did change a lot for me because part of that sentence, I couldn't go out. I couldn't
enjoy
be places
homecoming
with my
prom.
friends. Yeah, I probably went to like maybe 2 dances all of high school.
Wow.
I wasn't getting to get out a lot because the court wouldn't give me permission to.
Damn.
That is crazy.
That messed up your social life, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It messed up social life. But, when I look back and reflect on it, there's still silver lining in it because it helped build resilience, in business, personal relationships, all type of different areas. So it's unfortunate, but it was a learning lesson too, how wicked the criminal justice system can be.
So the guys that were involved in this, did any of them have anything to do with it? Or it was just...
Well, I don't think so, but, it happened, it's almost like a blur. And so, some of the guys, we grew up together. We went to school together. We knew each other. We were in each other's houses, but, it was just a situation where that was the last time I kind of saw them or heard from them. And
because the trauma of it all kind of drove a wedge between the friendship, I'm sure.
The trauma and everything kind of drove a wedge. And then, I went to elementary school with them, and now I was going to a new middle and high school. So that kind of,
and you haven't seen them guys since?
I haven't seen them since.
Damn.
You know what's crazy though? And this is just real talk. You took that same situation, got playing sports, and went to Rice University, bro.
Absolutely.
You know Rice University is like the Harvard of Texas.
Shout out Rice.
Yeah.
My buddy, he went to Rice. Vaughn is the
Vaughn. That's my
You know
boy.
Vaughn?
I know Vaughn. Vaughn is a man. I always mess with Vaughn and told Vaughn, man, Vaughn should have played football. Vaughn was one of the most explosive athletes we had at Rice.
Yeah.
Vaughn is a good dude. I still, talk to him every now and then and do business with him too. So,
wow, that is crazy small word. Vaughn is like, bro, that's like one of my homies.
Yeah,
like we grew up
absolutely.
together.
Yeah, he told me y'all grew up together. You know, Bond don't even know this, but I always buy his music on Apple Music and support him. So, you know, Bond is a good dude, solid, great athlete, you know. And we just, you know, kind of remember back in the day, right? So it was a good time.
That is crazy, bro. Small world, man.
So how was college since you couldn't really do stuff socially?
Well, that's the crazy
So you
part.
wild out or what?
Oh, yeah. College was a wild out session. Man, you already know. As soon as I got to Houston, as soon as I set foot off that Greyhound bus, I went crazy. I'll admit it. I went crazy. My first semester, I'll never forget my first semester at Rice, my very first class at Rice University. I felt like I did not belong here. Yeah, it was the class was math 103 or something on 102, calculus with multiple variables, and it was my head was spinning in there. And it's crazy because my dad was a math professor when he was living, but I didn't get any of them genes. You know, So, but you know, when I got to Houston, I was a little undisciplined as far as like staying on top of schoolwork and being
social.
Yeah, freshman year. You know, freshman year for a lot of people. Sometimes that's the last year in school.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you was getting, you know, probably a few pregnancy scares, you know, that type of vibe.
No comment. No
comment. You was catching up with time.
Playing a little catch up.
So how was the relationship with you and your mom when he was going through all that? Did she believe you?
Oh, yeah, my mom absolutely believed me. She knew what it was. And, you know, it's so crazy because the attorney that represented me, I had a chance to talk to her like maybe about 4 years ago. And the stuff she told me.
Like 4 years from this day?
No, 4 years from now. So, So I talked to her like, what was it, 2018 or 19? And the stuff she told me blew me away about how like when they went back in the chambers with the district attorney and the judge, she was like, you know, this lady raises her kids good. They all have great grades. Y'all know he wasn't there. And the irony of it all, I don't mean to shame or anything, but the dude, the victim that was, you know, shot at the time, he was like a neighborhood junkie.
Wow.
So that was at the time before, at the end of kind of white flight. So we were all kind of still in the same neighborhoods and, you know, that.
Well, you know, they said that, man, about New Orleans, you know what I mean? I know that's your state, you know what I mean? But I've really heard that it was like a lot, like the court system was kind of
That's Louisiana.
Just Louisiana in general. And I heard also, you know, crazy as it sound, but I heard that just as corrupt people get, you know, shammed, kind of how you got shammed. Mm-hmm. But it's also like if you got money, you can also
get out.
You can get out of shit.
You can get out of it. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, New Orleans is the police department. They've done a much better job than back then. You know, the FBI had to intervene and actually come to New Orleans and clean the police department up back then. So it's a thing back home in New Orleans, like in the 90s, it was crazy with people getting railroaded, people getting charges put on them by police. Knowing that they didn't do it.
Knowing they didn't do it. You got to pay to get out of it. And it was just
it
was a buddy of mine. And he was actually, you know, he really was a D-boy.
Okay.
He really was.
He really did do it.
But here's the thing though.
When he got
caught,
he to target somebody else.
He didn't get caught doing it, but they shammed him because they knew that he did it.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
He never got caught in the act.
He never got caught in the act, but they shammed him, and he ended up going down, right? And then he ended up having to pay. He paid the judge, and the judge let him go.
Yeah, that's facts. That's
bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
crazy what happens.
That's
in the
crazy.
Justice system.
You know, I ain't saying no names, but I'm just saying like that's how it was, and it was like a crazy bag.
How long ago that was?
This was like
20 years ago.
Yeah, about 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, 90s.
Yeah.
This was like in the 90s.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
High school.
Okay. Yeah, he was like OG when I was growing up. You know, I used to cut his hair.
Okay,
and he told me. So tell me this though, you went from the first duplex. How did you? Now you got 6 projects going right now.
Yeah, right.
Currently,
now we have 6 projects going on.
Are you planning on keeping all of them, or are you gonna sell off?
So the plan is we're gonna keep at least 4 of them, and there are 2 that we may sell. And the decision on whether or not we sell them has to just do with you know, just capital raising, you know,
Right.
basically just getting
liquid.
capital to push. Yeah, just to push other projects ahead. We're trying to submit a 5+ deal, a 8-unit deal to the city to see, you know, what their thoughts on it are. You know, on a 12,000 square foot lot, we're going to propose an 8-unit. We're going to see how that goes. You never know.
So out of the 6 projects you have going on, how many total units is it?
The 6 projects, they're all duplexes. So
they're all duplexes.
Units, yeah.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Right now.
Okay. Now, what parts of the city do you like to primarily focus on?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I primarily like Sunnyside and South Park. My wife, her family is like 3-4 generations deep in Sunnyside. Like, you know, all the way back to pre-Houston annexation of Sunnyside. You know, her great-great-grandmother grew up in Sunnyside. Her dad did. Her parents are from Beaumont. So the one time I left Sunnyside, South Park, I learned a valuable lesson. I was helping this guy try to build a duplex in Acres Home.
Okay.
And there's Acres Home. One difference in Houston, Acres Home has some very strong homeowners associations when you compare them to a lot of the different areas that are going through revitalization. And so this one specific HOA, they had a deed restriction against, they only wanted single family homes, right? And so what's crazy, chapter 42 of Houston's ordinances, the way it's written, a single family home is a duplex. A duplex can be considered that. But
absolutely.
They went back to the interpretation at the time when it was written, you know, back in, I think, the 60s or 70s. So it just ended up a big mess. We got about 75% done building a duplex. And we got sued.
By the city?
Yeah. Well, we didn't get sued by the city. We got sued
HOA.
by the HOA. And so instead of going through court, because that became expensive, like attorney fees. I mean, that was like, you know, it's lessons. It's lessons in L. So, you know, we ended up getting 75% done with the duplex. And part of the settlement was that it had to be torn down to the ground and remove the foundation, basically like it never existed. So
start all over if you want to build.
Nah, it was like if you build again, part
Single
of it
family.
too, my company can no longer ever go to that specific subdivision. So that was part of it. That was part of the settlement.
So this happened?
Yeah, this actually happened. This happened.
So you built the house.
Chapter 42.
Wait a minute. So you got building permits?
No,
Yeah,
he built 75%.
We got the permit.
He built the house.
That's the catch in
75%.
Houston. A lot of people need to understand.
So you got to follow HOA rules and the city rules.
No, the city will give you a permit to build, but there's this one piece of paper that we all sign that basically absolves the city of any liability if there is a deed restriction violation. So you can get a permit to build whatever you want to,
right here.
and they'll let you build it.
The HOA,
you know, the city will let you build it, but you know, the HOA, you know, they had a lot of strength behind them though. So, you know, that ended up in us, you know, personally, like over $100,000 in a loss.
So that was your biggest L? I'm hoping
that was my biggest L. And, you know, it took...
Hold on. This is a lot of game right here, though. Especially,
bro.
This for any builder. Like, if you building something, you got to get a lot of confirmations before you even put the foundation down.
I say you got to go to the title company. That's the first step. Go to the title company, give them the legal description, and ask them for the deed restrictions. Read through those deed restrictions. If there's any misinterpretation or anything, I would definitely take it to that HOA before you even start spending money. See, that was an expensive lesson.
If you're 75% done,
tore the whole thing down.
It was torn down to the ground, and they made us remove the foundation.
So hold on.
The foundation had to be removed.
75% done. You got the roof.
Oh yeah, the roof was on.
Framing
was done.
Sheetrock, or you about to
sheetrock was done. Everything was done. We had
somebody there that could live in there.
I would have wanted to fight. You hear me?
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough business lesson, and I stayed up a lot of nights. And my wife, she reminds me about it to this day. So we don't take those chances anymore.
How long ago was that?
That was recent. That was like 2-3 years ago. That was very recent.
As you said, it's 160,000 or 130,000?
What, on the L?
The total, yeah.
No, it was about 100,000 on the L. Yeah, it was about 100,000 on the L.
How do you recover from that? Because I'm guessing you had a loan and everything?
Yeah, so...
Are you still paying on the loan? Or?
No, I'm not paying on the loan. So what happened, the guy that owned the lot, I was helping him build it, but, that was his first time building. So I basically gave him a cosign to this lender not an actual cosign, but I was like, hey, take
he
him
good
on.
for it, yeah.
He good. And so, the lender was obviously fronting some of the money. And so we were just spending it, building it. And then, the catch in this too, the city red tagged our project one time. The city attorney reviewed it and was like, you're fine. Keep building it. We kept building, so we kept spending more. About a month, I'd say about 3 weeks passed. We got another red tag. This time the energy was way different.
Yeah.
City attorney wouldn't talk to me.
Like he knew what was going on.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was different. This time I was like, okay, something is different now. And so they were like, nah, this ain't gonna move on. We hired attorneys. We probably spent about $20K in attorneys' fees. That's part of that 100. I probably spent at least $20,000 in attorneys' fees, and it was just going back and forth. And the best thing was just to take that loss at that moment to stop it right there before the bleeding possibly continued.
Shit. So tell me this: you couldn't have repurposed it and turned it into a single family?
It would have just been not feasible because of what we've done. With the foundation and with the water lines and everything, we ran the numbers and it just wouldn't have been.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have worked.
It would have been an overly expensive
single family.
Yeah, exactly, and it wouldn't have comped with the neighborhood. So that was one thing. So, but it was a lesson. We learned that.
Wow.
So if you're a new builder in Houston, just because you have a permit in your hand, that don't mean nothing.
You just getting started.
Yeah, you got to take the steps and get with the title company. Make sure that there are no deed restrictions. That your project can move forward how you think it's going to come to life. So you really want to do that due diligence because, nobody's going to come save you at the end of the day.
So what you learned from that? Because
that just made me, bruh, I'm finna be
you got more work to
deed
do.
restrictions, boy.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So tell me this. So you said that's happening in Acres Home primarily.
Acres Home has some of the strongest HOAs in Houston as far as like the areas that are revitalizing.
Here's the thing though, how does that benefit the city or even the HOA to have a property not there?
Well, their argument was that, they wanted to control the area. I respect that. It's all single family homes. They're traditional single family homes, one door, one house, one family. And they just talked about how they didn't want it to become a rental neighborhood. And in this specific case, the dude I was helping, he was from that neighborhood and he was going to own or occupy it. And, house hack one side, they still didn't show him no love. So it was like,
So what y'all do with the lot? Y'all sold it or y'all still got it?
No, it's so crazy because I just checked on that lot the other day and it ended up being a single family home, traditional, built on that lot. And it just sold June, just last month it sold.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it took about.
So they got that money back out of it?
I'm pretty sure he did. He was a good dude too. I mean, he was.
So he built the house?
I was helping him build it. He needed.
So you partner with him?
Yeah. So, when you.
You need like somebody to be like, exactly. Hey, he ready to go.
Your first time. Yeah. You needed somebody for the lender to kick in.
To be on like the paper.
Yeah, So we were just going to fee build it for him, basically. Fee build it, and he was going to turn around and sell it.
Damn.
I think he was going to sell it anyway. He was going to sell it or live in the house.
Whatever his play was.
Yeah.
That's a major L, bro.
Yeah, it was a major L, absolutely. Sheesh. But there's lessons, it's lessons in L's.
So how did you recover from this? I know you got the deals going on now, but you sold a lot of duplexes since then.
Yeah, I've sold a lot of duplexes since then. And then also, our company, we fee build for other investors too. We've helped other people build duplexes and sell them profitably. That's one thing I hang my hat on, with the exception of that one case in Acres Home. Anyone that's ever done anything with our company, they've all made money. It's all been profitable.
Nice.
That's part of what we want to help people do, because when everyone makes money, then business keeps going.
Right.
So let's talk about that. So you do fee build. So what is typically your numbers like?
So it just depends on exactly what you're building. If you're building like a 1-story duplex, it can be as cheap as like $90-some a square foot. But the highest cost that we've given anyone right now and executed on has been about $130 a square foot.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
not bad at all.
That's real good.
We do turnkey projects. So we will be with you the whole step of the way, hand you the keys at the end, and then we take it a step further because we have relationships with an appraiser who, my good friend Anthony Griffin, shout out to him. We also attack your project from that angle too. So that's what kind of makes us different, especially if you're doing duplexes or income property. we know how to speak that appraisal language and how to,
we got to do to make the numbers high.
Bingo. Because number higher, lending based off of that number if you're going to keep it, or 80%. Your sales price, obviously it's going to also be impacted.
So how you getting all this done if you and your wife both have full-time jobs? Because I know people here listening and watching be like,
I'll be honest with you.
I don't have time.
My wife, I salute her. She's a throwback woman. I mean, and I say that meaning like she gets her hands dirty. She really helps me. Yeah. I see a lot of this lately about the soft life and all this. And I'm like, a lot of people, I look in the camera and say this, that's for TV, that's for entertainment. Most of my dudes, most of my homeboys is married and doing good. Most of our wives, they get busy. They work busy. They get grind with us. They help us. They support us. They do a lot with the kids. So, salute to whoever's enjoying the soft life, but that's not the reality for most people. It's just not.
So soft life's not it if you're really trying to build something big.
No, that's not a reality. I mean, I think teamwork makes the dream work. And my wife is, salute to her. She really goes the extra step. I mean, like literally, I talk to a lot of the younger guys and they say, man, that's not what's happening for us right now. And I'm like, well, you got to pause. If you need to pause.
Pause. Yeah. Go grab your country girl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You choose the girl. Yeah. At the end of the day, the girl don't choose you. So, how's that set up? Like, what's your role, your wife's role, and how you actually getting it done?
Finance and accounting background. She's
the numbers.
Smart, MBA. She's crazy, with the numbers. So, so she really helps a lot on the number side. And then she's a financing partner, obviously, too. So us together, so much stronger on paper. So, we're 50-50 partners in our entity and in our holdings companies where we actually own assets. And then the development is like that, too. We don't hide anything from each other. She has access to my accounts, vice versa. She's been a great partner.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's super dope.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm happy you're on the same page. A lot of people get in the business and they don't be on the same page.
Yeah, that's a struggle for a lot of married couples. I'm hearing and finding out like you might have one partner that's a little bit more risk averse and somebody else might be, more willing to take on risk. So it's like
y'all both attack it.
Yeah, we both attack it. Again, I salute her because I know it's not easy. It's not easy being a mother, wife, having to have that W-2 job.
Deal
and
with
then
the building.
Yeah.
Deal with you.
And I'm gone a lot. I'm gone a lot between my job and then being on construction sites, and then meeting with clients. She's holding it down with the kids, and, shuffling them around and helping them with homework. She really, truly is a throwback woman. So salute to her.
What you do full time?
I'm sorry?
What is your full-time job?
Oh, so my full-time job, I've been in sales. So specifically, I work in like electric retail sales. So I know you guys, everyone has electric bills. So I sell commercial electricity across Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Oh, so you travel a lot?
I don't really travel like when I was younger as much. Now I'm probably leaving Texas for that work maybe once or twice a year.
Gotcha.
It's not that bad.
So you've been at this job for a minute?
Yeah, I've been not at this same job, but in the same industry since 2002. And that's one of the silver linings of that electric industry, especially in Texas, is recession-proof. We need electricity. Texas is pro-business too. Deregulation is always going to be here, at least for the foreseeable future for us. So there's opportunities there.
Wow.
So what's making you not leave the job? Like what's making you stay there?
That's a great question. I'm not going to be staying there too much longer.
Okay.
One of the reasons... Oh, well,
it's out here now.
But I'm not going to be there too much longer. But,
what you think this year?
I'm not exactly sure. I want to get that real estate professional designation, and so when I get that,
With like an Airbnb or something like that?
No, just, from a tax perspective, I've been talking to Malachi a lot. Yeah. Malachi's been giving me a lot of this IRS game and tax game. And I'm like, okay,
blowing
I'm
your head off.
Oh, yeah. Malachi, shout out to him too.
Yeah.
In case y'all don't know, Malachi is one of the top fastest growing brokers in Texas right now. The name of his company is Stingy Energy. So he's doing his thing. But I think, it's just working for us right now with the W-2 income. And then even for lending too, it's just so much stronger.
Talk about it.
We have some, we got some major projects coming up and then some personal stuff happening too. So we want to get through that phase of lending. And then once we're done there, we'll, do what?
So the plan. So you quitting first, the wife quitting first.
It's probably going to be me first, to be honest with you.
So you can be out there in the field.
We've talked about it. Yeah. We've talked about it. It's going to be me first, and she's going to be more. She's going to do her thing. She does really well. So my wife does really well on her W-2. I can't compare to what she's doing. So
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So you talked about y'all stronger together when it comes to lending and things like that. What type of lending are y'all using for these projects? Are y'all in community banks, hard money, private money, raising money?
So I've used community, local banks. We've used banks like Allegiance, who's now Stellar Bank, Prosperity. We've gotten relationships lately with Frost too, but we also have hard money relationships. And I think where the hard money relationships are valuable for us is like I can make a phone call and these guys will like just boom, they'll front it. They'll be like, okay, let's go.
Quick closing.
Because we have a relationship and we've always been successful with them. So it's not like going through a lot of paperwork process or, it's just available. But, we have lines of credits available too, but we kind of want to just, use the full mix of everything while we can, while we're young. Because we got this plan. Eventually, we're going to be able to slow down.
What is the plan? What's the plan?
So the plan is, build to rent, accumulate rental income. Right now we have a decent number of doors. But I think ultimately what we want to do, especially before our kids get a little bit older, we want to just continue to just grind it out while we're, still younger. By the time we're both 50, we want to be able to really be just kicking our feet up. Yeah, completely. So
if you don't mind me asking, how many doors do you?
It's crazy. That's a great question you ask. And a great business mind that she actually mentors my sister, my little sister, and she told me, never answer that question. And I said, why? She was like, you never want, no, she said, you never want to be precluded from getting into an opportunity. If someone hears, oh, you only got 20 doors or you only got 22 doors. Oh, we ain't going to involve them in this opportunity. So she said, never say how many doors you have.
Who is the mentor?
You know her. We'll talk about it offline. We'll talk about it offline. But you know who her mentor is.
Well, tell me this. How many doors do you want to have?
I think it's not a number of how many doors I want to have. I think there's a number that I think we want to get to that we'll feel comfortable with. And right now, today, based on today's economy, if we can get to like 50K a month, I think that's a good number for, the lifestyle we have and for, our kids and all that, then that's going to be a good time. And that can come like in a number of deals. Partnership has been a big thing too here lately. We've heard it a lot and we're doing a lot more of it. So
break that down. How are you doing your partnerships? How you structure?
So it just depends. Like one of my guys, Cipriano, he's like basically kind of like the guy that he's done a bunch of different construction projects across Texas and Florida. So I partner with him. He speaks Spanish. He's able to kind of do a lot of the delegation in the field if I'm not there. But we go 50-50 on the deals we do together, whether we're selling or keeping. And then also from a larger perspective, like with my friends and whatnot, I went in with some friends. We bought a bunch of land. We're going to be, kind of liquidating some of the people's positions because they want to exit. But we're just taking on more partnerships and looking at other opportunities too. I got a solid homeboy out in Florida who he is really killing it right now. And he lives in the suburbs of Orlando, and we're looking at doing some stuff out there, and they're in between Georgia. So we're always kind of keeping our eye open in markets like, Texas, Florida, Georgia, those, type of markets where it's real estate friendly and landlord friendly. That's important nowadays.
Yeah, landlord friendly. So break this down, because I know that you've done a number of different deals. What is, for somebody that's new, that's looking to get into the development space, can you break down what does that process look like from start to finish, right? The big picture version, but start to finish, when you get a project.
Yes.
What are you doing? You found
so you found a lot.
You found a lot.
You found a lot.
What are you doing?
Your due diligence on that lot. You just want to make sure that what you have in your mind can come to life on that lot. I'll give you a quick example. In Houston, remember we used to have those 3-foot lateral setbacks.
Yeah.
Now they went to 5 foot. So that changes a lot of things now, especially with how we replatted and built. But you just want to be very diligent in doing your due diligence to make sure you can bring your project to life. You have to take into consideration what is your exit. Are you going to keep it or sell it? Because, for example,
you need to know that on the front end.
Yeah, you need to know that. You need to know that, especially in a city like Houston where we have like flood zones. There's a website that's very transparent for anybody to get on and actually check an address specifically to see if it's in the flood zone. And the reason that matters, you guys know, because of the flood
FEMA,
insurance.
right?
Yeah.
The Harris County FEMA map tool.
Whatever.
Yeah, you can put an address in there. It'll tell you if it's in the flood zone, because that flood zone, the flood insurance impacts the cash flow.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays. So
you buying flood zones or you wouldn't?
Me personally, I don't buy in flood zones. But one of the very first rental properties I did buy, a single family house in South Park, it wasn't a flood zone. Harvey happened and it didn't flood. And so I was like, wait a minute, how do I blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
so I went to the bank and I went to the lender. They were like, nah, that's not us. That's FEMA. There's a process you can go through. It's called I think a letter of map amendment, LOMA, that you can go through. Especially y'all, if y'all experienced Harvey and you own the property and it didn't flood, you should literally think about doing that letter of map amendment, because what it does, it reduces the requirement to have flood insurance, or, once it changes to an X zone, the flood insurance becomes cheaper. So it's a game changer.
You got a game right there.
Yep.
So we own a big piece of property over by the airport. And it's in a flood zone, technically.
Hobby or in a
Continental.
Oh, up on the north side, yeah.
But it's never flooded.
Is a house, is the structure there?
It's 2 houses there. It's a little bit over half acre.
You should go through that process, letter of map amendment, and see what happens. Did it
cost money?
No, it's no money. It's not any money. It's free. You just, it's a little tedious. You just can get this information from the HCAD website on your specific lot and submit this information. It'll take like 2-3 months before they respond. But I mean, if you didn't have a flood event happen during Harvey, and
why
in
you
our
paying for
case,
this highest insurance?
They let us.
So from an architect perspective, are you reaching out to your architect to help you do your due diligence on a lot, or are you doing it yourself?
No, sometimes you can talk to an architect, and then also you can engage plumbers too, because plumbers will be able to tell you, one thing you want to make sure that you can tap into a sewer line or a water line, because if you can't, it gets very expensive. So that's why sometimes you'll see cheap lots. It's because there's no sewer or water connection there. So obviously the seller may not tell you that. And once it's over. Then you find out the cost to tap or make that line is like 80, 90 grand. So, that takes it. Yeah, exactly.
That take your deal to the trash.
And in the city, they may reimburse you like 70% of that over time, but you still don't want to go into that deal like that. So
first thing, do you find your lot? Do you due diligence?
Yeah. What are some other things that people need to look out for? So we heard water, sewer,
electricity.
Electric is pretty easy because, for most of us, we just got to look up in the sky and you'll see where the center point energy transmission or distribution line goes. So you'll be able to see. But the important thing, too, I'm learning this lately. This year, center point is overwhelmed. So one of the first things you want to do, too, is get with the service consultant in the area and schedule that meeting with them and bring them out to the site. You're going to fill out this form. I think it's called an electric service request form. You want to do that because right now they're overwhelmed and they're swamped. So it's taking them in some cases up to 4 months to come out and bring that pole. So if you can be done with the construction project, but you don't have electricity, and so you're still paying construction loan interest. So you don't want that to happen.
Boy,
man, I got a question, man. So it seems like in Houston right now, the interest rate's high, city backed up, utilities backed up. Why you continuously to choose to do new construction rather than doing a rehab?
Well, new construction for me, it's just more linear. Rehabs, and salute to anybody that's doing rehabs. I've done 2 of them. They were grinds, but with a new construction project, it's really linear. And if it's something you plan to keep, it's just going to be less of a headache. One thing I noticed personally, like in the properties that I have that were built in the 50s or 60s, maintenance issues always are coming up, regardless of how rehabbed or nice it looks. It's still a 70, 80-year-old building. Yeah. So Versus with the new construction stuff, it's cake. I'm not having these issues. And then I have like warranties from all the trades for like a year. So, even if something was to go wrong, it's
new
not.
New plumbing, new electrical, new AC.
And then, look what city we're in. We're in Houston. Houston is the place to be right now if you're a real estate investor in the U.S. I mean, look at all the data. I was reading something the other day that Houston is going to be the second most populated city and the largest city in America by, I think, like 2070. Which it sounds like far away, but it's really not.
It's not because you're taking advantage of all of that swell. And if you
buy now,
jumping in the pockets,
you buy now,
equity will be heavy.
And if we really believe in this thing called generational wealth, I mean, I'm okay with setting it up for my son and, daughter and who's coming behind me. I'm okay with it,
I like it.
Yeah.
So when you're selling these duplexes, what's your average profit on those?
So it varies. Profit margin, everybody talks in gross numbers, right?
Yeah, I like the net.
Let's get down to the net. The gross profits will probably be around like 35%. But then when you net it out at the end, after all realtor fees,
so
settlement costs,
25.
You'll probably be around like 24. Okay. You're 25. But now we're just doing more of the build to rent. So with the bonus depreciation thing too, it's lovely. I mean,
because you can discount all that off your tax. So you basically not paying no taxes.
Yeah, not paying any taxes. And then
even on your W-2?
The W-2, I think you get to discount like 25% of, 25% of the budget cost of the construction against your W-2 income. So if something costs you $100,000, you can discount like $25,000 to my.
So you just ain't paying no taxes.
Yeah, you should be paying bare minimum.
Bare minimum, but remember, part of the reason I'm also transitioning to build to rent, I was selling a lot of duplexes in 2019.
So you made a lot of money.
2020, I was paying a lot of taxes, a whole lot of taxes. The IRS ain't a game, not a game at all.
Bet. So you've been talking to Malachi. So what gems you got from him when it comes to? Because he big on doing new construction.
Yeah, he's big on new construction and opportunity zones. Malachi is very focused and intentional on building an opportunity zone.
He likes
business zero credit out of pocket too.
Yeah,
business
zero out of pocket.
Business credit, lines of credit.
And he uses lines of credit. He utilizes his credit cards he has well. So Malachi is really solid when it comes to just knowledge around taxation too. He, you know where he works.
So
it makes sense.
So how talking to Malachi, how did it change the way you buying these deals? So are you putting the 20% down, the 10% down, money out of pocket? Where you getting that down payment money from?
It just depends. Sometimes we'll use credit cards. Sometimes we'll have no money down because a lender may just front us and say, hey, just go, just go do what you need to do. And it just depends on the situation. It depends all on the lot
cost. Are you
cost,
trying to go into the deals with no money out of pocket every time?
Not necessarily all the time. Sometimes it's a good thing to go no money out of pocket, but, I like equity too. So I want to have as much equity at the back end as possible because, our developments take us about, from start to finish, it'll be under a year in most cases. So, we're okay with the delayed gratification in a lot of cases. So that's cool with it.
And see, that's the cool thing about building with your wife.
Yeah.
Because she understands the mission.
She does. She really does.
So she looking at it like, I know we gonna be cake.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely. Delayed gratification. That's what it is. She understands that, she sacrificed a lot.
Because with the 6 projects you build, and I'm pretty sure that's probably a couple million in development right there alone.
6 projects, easily gonna be over that.
Sure. Yeah. They at least 200 a piece.
Yeah, no,
in raw cost.
More than that.
And then you looking at what you think the appreciation once built. What you think the overall value?
So with the product we build duplexes right around the $500,000 to $600,000 value range. We're not selling them right now.
So you 50%, 50 to 60%.
Yeah. So if we build it, as reasonably as possible, we have a great equity position at the end. So what we do is we close, we take that money, we go buy land because ultimately in Houston, and not just Houston, the landowners are going to win. If you own land, you're going to win here.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of appreciation happen in Houston. I talked to my lender friends. They're starting to see 40-year terms in their matrices. So you just put together a 40-year mortgage and possible lowered interest rates. What do y'all think real estate values are going to do, especially in Houston? It's going to go crazy. It's going to go crazy.
I like that. So you're making about 25% net on the flips.
That's on the sales.
That's on the flips.
But
what is the cash flow looking like for for the tenants per side?
So it just varies. We do a mix of traditional long-term rent.
Okay.
We do the corporate rental, and we also do short-term rental, Airbnb, VRBO, direct rentals, direct bookings. We're doing a lot of that.
You do a mixture.
Yeah, we do. You got to do a mixture right now. That's
where the cash flow is.
Yeah, that's where the cash flow is. Honestly, it's there, and then it just gives you the flexibility, to be able to, you might have a side of a duplex that's been a hot Airbnb for 2 months, and now it may have slowed down a little bit. Now you transition it to a
traditional.
How you feel about Airbnb right now?
Well, short-term rental.
How's it been working for you?
It's been good for us. I'll be honest.
Okay.
It's been good for us. I think one thing people have to keep in mind is that it's a hospitality business. It's a customer service business. So we lead with world-class customer service in our short-term rentals that we operate. We only have 6 that are short-term rentals that we use as short-term rentals, but you got to lead with customer service. You have to make the experience, one that's
unforgettable.
Yeah. And in our case, what distinguishes us, we have duplexes, right? So what makes us different than like a hotel or something like that is we have that outdoor private space. You have your private backyard. So you have to accentuate that to, really draw people in.
So tell me this, are you setting it up so you have a duplex, one side traditional, one side
Yeah, one side I like to have one side of traditional. Somebody is going to be eyes on the property too.
Yeah.
You got to have that because it's a lot of scams in Houston right now with Airbnb, short-term.
What kind of scams? Break it down. What kind of scams
Oh,
they have?
my goodness. I got a call from one of my friends who has nice property in the Galleria area. And there are groups that go in and they'll book a bunch of Airbnbs. It's the same group will book a bunch of Airbnbs for a weekend. They always target the Airbnbs with a garage, right? They'll come with a white
take everything
van,
out of there.
Pull in there.
Take everything out.
No one sees when the garage goes. Take all the stuff out. They'll book it for the whole weekend, but just come that Friday night, take everything and gone. And they'll hit like 3-4 houses at one time.
And they out of there.
Whoa.
So that's a big thing. So I like to have eyes, on
but
one
with
side.
that, Airbnb pretty good at paying out too.
Yeah, they are very good at paying out,
So when that happens, they'll pay you out.
Yeah, they'll pay you out. But the catch is like with your personal insurance, like with your insurance on the property, if you don't have things documented on the inside, they're not going to cover it. Like, it's like
so you got to have it documented.
Yeah, you got to have it documented what's inside. Like the adjuster will actually come inside and like make sure that he sees, okay, is this brand TV, blah, 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 because that was bad for this guy. I mean, it really, kind of had him shut down for a little bit. But, that's part of the game in Houston. There's a lot of opportunists in Houston. So we got to watch out for them.
Mm-hmm. Damn, man.
Sheesh. Man, listen, if you haven't already, you definitely need to rate, subscribe, hit the like button. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Because, man, Gilbert is going crazy right now with the gems.
Absolutely.
So real quick. So back to that start to finish, because I want to make sure, that folks are able to really pick up, so number one, you're buying the land.
Yeah, I buy the land.
You're not partnering with the sellers on the land.
No. Not in these cases. I'm not partnering with sellers. We tried to run that a little bit, and it was just, kind of back and forth, especially if the land is owned by more than one party. That gets
like
a little
headache.
tricky.
It gets
a little tricky. And,
so I just recently did one just like that.
Oh, how'd that go?
Okay, so what I did was I got one person to be on the LLC. The other family members are beneficiaries.
Oh, that's live. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a goal with the lending. They didn't trip the lender.
No, because they're a minority partner.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
less than
20%.
So they had the land and you had the you bring in the construction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's what's up. Y'all are gonna keep it or what's the plan?
Plan to keep it.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. There's a lot of that's the thing too in Houston. There's so many undeveloped lots, and not even just undeveloped lots. There's so many vacant lots. I think I heard Mayor Turner talking. I think they have a plan to, tear down a bunch of like distressed vacant properties across Houston that are just
more
kind of been sitting.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because we actually got a podcast with Krista.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this Saturday.
That's what's up.
And we're gonna be talking about because she's with the land bank, so we're gonna be talking about specifically how we can get some inroads in there too. So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
There's a lot
check.
of opportunity in Houston. I mean, and then when you work with good people like Byron and O, I mean, good things happen. I think that's the big thing in business. It's the people.
Yeah.
You got to have soft skills. You
Keeping
have
your
to
face clean.
yeah, exactly.
Doing good business.
Houston is small. Let me tell you how small Houston is. You know, it's a lot of people that go around and act like they, you know,
Yeah.
but people talk and people find out the people that are, you know, scamming or running games on people, the builders that are shaking people down.
Yeah.
You know, there was this one just recently where it was a $190,000 hit. You know, family gave these builders $190,000 to
Up front?
I don't know if it was all up front, but that was the total they had given to them. And, you know, they of that $190,000, that builder did probably about $60K of bad work at that.
Wow.
And it was gone in the wind. So that's happening right now in Houston.
Yeah, but that hurt, bro.
You know,
Boy, can you imagine, boy?
Yeah.
That's why I'm a firm believer,
His
man.
hurt.
No
It was
pay.
only 15K loss. Just
Yeah.
imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm
130.
believer, no pay before the work.
Oh,
bro.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that. No.
No pay before
Before the work. Yeah, that's important because, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that's going on in Houston. Like, you see all the wins and stories on Instagram, and it's a lot you don't see that's going on.
It's a
right
lot of
now.
L's.
It's a lot of L's.
So back to that. So let's say, for instance, right? Just because I'm really trying to help somebody who is
Trying to
looking to
figure
get
it
into
out,
the space and they don't want to take the losses that you may have taken or even some of the losses I've taken.
Mm-hmm.
Skip the line. How you?
Skip the line. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna skip the line. So let's say, for instance, I find a lot. I want to build on this lot. I take this to the city. Am I going to take, you said I'm going to take it to my architect. I'm going to take it to my plumber because the plumber going to let me know about the
Yeah,
lines.
the plumber will let you, he'll
That
be
water.
able to see that the sewer and water lines are there.
I'm going to also get with Centerpoint because Centerpoint may take
be
me
behind 3 months.
Yeah.
3-4 months.
yeah.
So now I'm thinking to myself right now, yo, I need to be hollering at Centerpoint
Yeah.
now.
ASAP.
Yeah, I need to get
ASAP.
them on the horn.
ASAP.
So, and then another piece is you need to check these deed restrictions because
You absolutely have to check the deed restrictions. You must check.
Think
the
you about to
deed
have a great deal, but you really got no deal.
deal in a
Mhm.
trash can before you even know it.
Yeah,
You thinking
exactly.
you finna build a quadplex and you can't even build a oneplex.
That
Hey,
lot
in the
needs to stay
neighborhood,
there.
they just watching you build it.
Yeah,
They like,
they're like,
okay.
oh, okay,
Oh, he
okay.
about to- and then
We
they
finna
drop it on you.
Humpty
Bam.
Dumpty.
Yeah.
Hey
Oh,
man,
God.
Humpty Dumpty fell off the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
So real quick. All right. So you take it to the what other things are you looking out for, you know what I mean, from the city before you building on this piece of property?
So before you build on a piece of property, you just want to make sure that, that the specific site that you're building on, that street in that area is viable for your project. Because like, let's say in your case, you want to do a build to rent. You
Mhm.
want to know, what the real rents are in that area. And then from the city's perspective, you just want to, kind of stay on top of them. You can hire a runner,
Mm-hmm.
or you can do a lot of the phone calling yourself just
Yeah.
to check on the different groups and make sure, you help them get your project through approvals.
Because if you're not calling them,
Yeah, if you're not calling them, they're not calling
They
you.
ain't
They
worried
just
about
kind of, sit back. But there's ways you can kind of push them forward because like each group may have like 20 some odd days to respond to a certain submission. Add all those 20 some days up. That's
Long
like
time.
that's a long time. So
yeah.
in our business,
Time is money.
You don't want that interest exposure. You want to condense it as much as possible. But you definitely want to stay on the city. You want to talk to the neighbors in the area too. They can give you a lot of game that you may not know. Like,
Right.
Such and such always going on right there. It's
A lot
in
always
flood
flooding.
zone,
Yeah.
something, was going on. And then it's good to engage neighbors too, because your neighbors can be the biggest advocates. Let's say at the beginning of a development project, you need water to get through those first plumbing permits, but you don't have water. So a lot of times we'll say, hey, Mr. Neighbor, we got your next 2 months of water bills if you just give us access to your water.
Wow.
And that goes a long way. You develop rapport with them. Next thing you know, they're telling you about somebody down the street that's selling a lot.
Right.
So
And they watching your project.
And they
exactly.
watching your project.
Yeah,
they
they
gonna
watch
tell
your
it. They gonna
project.
call
Yeah.
you. What?
They
And
do.
they got a
They
lot of
absolutely
people
do.
stealing wood on projects too.
Oh yeah, that's big. When it comes to lumber theft, I always tell people, man, order it's
you
never
need.
a perfect science.
Yeah.
Order what you need and make sure your labor is there to put it up. And
Yeah.
and the lead man, you better tell him, man to man, face to face, hey, this is your responsibility.
Yeah.
Shit go miss, just come out your pocket.
If your guys take stuff or remove stuff from the site,
so let's talk about that.
Because it happens.
That's big, bro.
Have you ever had your contractor put the money up for the wood?
I've never had the contractor put all the money up. Like, we may go 50-50 on it. But with certain things, like let's say if there's a certain quantity and this can get done today. If y'all don't finish this today, you take this back in your van with you, because if it comes up missing, it's going to be on you.
Your responsibility.
So I had a bad case happen one time in Sunnyside on the 5,000 Mallow block. I was building 4 duplexes at once. It was a Sunday. One of the neighbors called me frantically, man, Gil, where your doors at? Somebody had taken all the exterior doors, front door, back door, on all 4 duplexes, and they took them. And I was just like, man, what's going on? Like, and you never know sometimes if it's like inside job or kind of.
Most times you be thinking it's inside, though.
I'll probably be a neighbor, bro.
Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes.
Or
exactly.
be the contractor homies.
It'll be a neighbor. Yeah. It'll be a neighbor. But I think one of the greatest things about the trades, if you treat them well and treat them right, and the communication is open, the dialogue is there.
Usually good.
Yeah, you good. It's soft skills.
Loyal,
You make them think that, hey, this is your project too.
Yeah. You got
make
to.
them feel
And
good.
Pay them on time. Don't play with the money.
Don't play with the money.
Don't play with
And
the
you got to sell a dream. You got to sell a dream of future
we got
deals.
10 projects, bro. I'm waiting on you to finish this one.
Yeah, you definitely, they're
Holla at me on
incentivized.
Friday. I got you.
Yeah, they're definitely incentivized by, getting more work. But, that's something I learned. You got to treat these dudes with compassion, be real with them. There's some crazy stuff going on, man.
I'm about to say,
I'm talking about crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Certain blocks in the same neighborhood are so different.
Yeah.
Like, you could have one block where it's dudes that run that block. So they are like robbing construction crews in broad daylight and not even running away. They just walk to the other side of the street and what?
The other contractors?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's getting real, bro.
Oh yeah, it gets real. But sometimes conversations have to be had. Like, how can we
work together
this from happening?
Yeah.
And, so it's a lot. It's so crazy because literally block to block can be very different in construction.
Different.
Like,
That's
I build in
crazy.
Sunnyside. This is a crazy thing. I'll tell y'all this. Like, on what side of that? On the west side of Cullen. So on 77051 zip code, when we do the AC machines, you got to put the cages on there.
Oh, yeah.
You got to. But it's so crazy. On the other side,
You good.
on 77033, you good. It's cake. You don't have to do that. And, I mean, it's just what it is.
Do you put cages on all your ACs?
No, I don't.
You never had an AC stolen before?
Oh, I've had AC stolen. But, that's how we learn. It's so different how one block or one side of the neighborhood is a little bit different than the other side of the neighborhood. It makes a huge difference.
Houston is crazy, dog.
Houston is crazy.
It's wild.
You got to know your market.
How many AC units you had stolen if you had to say one house? 3?
One house I got hit for like 3 times.
Back to back.
Yeah, they were just watching. Yep.
Horrible.
Yep.
Same dude.
Oh,
And I caught
yeah,
him
it's
on
always
camera.
the same dude.
And the laws caught him in the act, and then they let him go.
They let him go?
Bro, they took him down the street and let him get out the car.
Oh, man.
There wasn't enough money to justify
they didn't want to wait. Yeah.
That bat would have been enough.
Yeah, we had a dude hit us like 3 times on Bowen Street in Sunnyside 2 years ago. So typically it's the same cats that do it. But I mean, it's, you just got to, like, to your point, know your market. And so we learned a lot of lessons. Now we know, primarily we're staying in Sunnyside and South Park. I mean, the proximity
It's horrible.
to, to NRG, to the medical center, to downtown. A lot of it is non-flood zone. So, I wouldn't be shocked to see in the next 3-4 years, a lot of these properties go up like 3x in the next, like, probably 5, 6, 7 years.
3x.
Up to, possibly.
I could see it happening, though.
Yeah. Just think about it. In the last 3 years, we started selling our
went up
duplexes. The
crazy.
price point was $250. Now it's $500. Now some of them are $600.
That's 3 years.
It's just
Crazy.
it's just the inflation. It's just a lot of different things at play. And with that said, though, too, we have some affordable projects that we're going to be participating in. Hopefully,
With the
starting
city?
soon. With MRA, I believe. So it hasn't really been announced.
Yeah.
But that's one of our missions too, because affordability is a critical issue right now in our city, not just our city, but across the country.
Yeah.
Rent getting too high.
Rent definitely.
Interest rates high.
Interest rates are high. Rent is high. It's just not the same as, the baby boomers. They were earning $30,000 a year. They could buy a house for $30,000. Yeah, it's not like that anymore. Houston. Yeah, not in Houston. Now we got to team up. That's a big thing. House hacking, and house hacking just isn't living in a duplex. House hacking can
living
just be
in a room.
Yeah, it can be
2 families in one house.
2 families in one house. Yeah, or 3-4 generations in one house. That's my reality. So I live with my wife, our 2 kids, my mother-in-law, my grandmother-in-law, and every now and then even my sister and my brother-in-law. So imagine all those incomes in one house and not having all these multiple bills and rents and AC bills. So that's
how it's set up for you right now?
That's how it's set up right now.
Damn.
Right now.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it ain't bad. But
if
you think about it,
take a village though.
Because
we talked about it.
But then you got to look at the benefits too. First of all, you African, so you get a pass. A regular black folk, we may struggle with that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just culturally, we messed up in that.
It's
sense.
Crazy. My wife is from here.
Yeah,
so
but you say she a throwback though.
Yeah.
So back in the day, we was able to do that.
She not with the soft life.
Yeah.
That would work in the
soft life generation, boy. That's a problem.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that's soft life. I mean, that's TV. That's TV and Instagram, man. That's not reality for most people.
Well, it's not. You talking generational wealth? It's not even smart.
No, it's not.
That shit's smart.
Because think about it. You got all that income coming in.
All the expenses is low.
Bring kids into it. Now you got a village.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Absolutely.
support.
You got support.
Yeah. So your wife is able.
Yeah.
Her wife is now it makes sense because at first I'm thinking she's Superwoman.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking she got support.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she went from because she can still keep her 9 to 5.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Got somebody to put eyes on the babies.
Watch the kids.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And she able to help you with your business.
Absolutely.
And then y'all
stress about the kids.
Y'all business. Yeah. Let me get it right.
Let's talk right about it. Because he ain't got to stress about his wife, stressing about the kids. The kids taken care of. Wife chilling at work.
And then if y'all want to just take a little vacation and go somewhere.
We can do that. We can do that. And, shout out to my mother-in-law, too. She picks our kids up from school every single day. So you see some of the built-in benefits,
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So it's less stress for you anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes sacrifice, though, too. Because, a lot of people living in one house, sometimes
it can be a little stressful.
Overwhelming. But at the end of the day, we kick our feet up and we enjoy each other. For the most part. So
that happens.
And if you got a big enough house, you can make it work.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So look, man, what kind of advice you got for the new builders coming up? Byron and myself and then the people watching, the people listening.
I would say, man, y'all just, stay close to experienced builders who will help you for free, man. Like literally give you advice, support you in any way, like with trades or anything that may come up. And just always just keep your eye forward, move things forward. Don't be don't be down if you run into a delay or rough patch.
It's gonna happen.
It can be stressful. It can be stressful, but the delayed gratification at the end of the day, you will be a winner. You own land. Y'all are winners already.
Yeah,
y'all are winners.
That.
And y'all are gonna win big too. The longer you hold on to it, that's part of the message I wanted to convey too. That you guys do a good job of conveying too. Is that we can't just keep selling everything we have because don't get me wrong. It's a great way to raise capital, but when you talk about long-term wealth, it's about ownership.
Yeah.
It's about holding. It's the tax benefits. It's the benefits that you pass to your kids. It's the benefits that you'll enjoy. I'm not going to be, busting my ass at 50. Like many people may be. The stuff me and my wife did in our 30s and 40s will allow us to, be a little bit more chill in our 50s. So it's just that and just being able to protect our family because that's so big. Just going back and reflecting on, what we've all been through growing up, and that's a big part of it.
So you planning on having in 7-figure? You want to when you get to that 50 point, you want to be in the 7-figure range in ownership or 10-figure range?
Oh, you mean the network?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean we're already 7-figure right now, my wife and I. But I think the goal is just to
that cash flow.
Yeah,
cash flow,
50K.
To support your lifestyle and whatever you have going on. So that's the big part about it. Just to be able to accelerate it. And then also it's important because I'm learning lessons from older people that have been successful, like bringing your kids along and really showing them,
the real
what
business.
you've done.
Yeah.
Because it can take one generation to just undo everything. God help us. We don't want that to happen. So we want to bring our kids along.
So they're watching the process.
Yeah, they're watching. I bring my son a lot of times on site and I try to show him what work ethic looks like. These kids nowadays, he's always asking me for money on. Yeah,
you got dudes want soft life.
Yeah,
and these kids want soft life. These kids, Dad, give me $30 every other day on the PlayStation.
They want to play the game all day.
If you want $30, let's go.
Let's go work for that $30.
And he sees how hard it is. I only pay him $10 an hour. I don't pay him any more than that.
Yeah,
and he gets to experience it.
How old is he?
My son is 11.
It's $10 good.
Yeah. It's good, but I make him work for it. Like, you're gonna sweat. You're gonna see, like, look, damn, this is real. This ain't easy, bro.
Yeah.
So you looking at, you want to be at the 8-figure range? Is that the comfortable zone?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we would love for our network to be into the 8-figure range. We have a long way to go before we get there, but we're going to get there. We're confident in, the moves we're making right now and just the partnerships we have, the alliances we're making. Houston is a great city. I think the no stingy energy thing, you trademarked it. It's real. I mean, Houston is a great city because people work together here.
Yeah.
We share information. We help each other.
Yeah.
We kind of see each other's work and what we're doing and, we grow from that. So it's a great place.
Got a strong black culture here for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's a great point you made too, because I think you hear a lot discussed like what may be happening on a national level, but I would love to see the data specific to Houston.
Yeah.
It gotta be
Houston has
strong.
a lot of black ownership when it comes to even look at Sunnyside.
Yeah, Pearland right here, bro. You look any of these businesses, bro. A lot of these are black owned businesses.
Yeah, we're in Al's building right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the great things about Houston. We just really want to continue to live here, make this cemented as our home, and just grow from here.
I love it, man. I love it. So if anybody interested in doing the partnerships, collaborations with you, how they gonna do that?
Well, just get in contact with us. I mean, because one of the things I learned from an experienced builder is like you can't really call yourself a builder or developer if you don't have an inventory of land. That's what makes everybody different. Some dudes are able to sell for like 10, 15% less than everybody because they sitting on land they've been owning 5-6 years. So they are just really killing it. So as far as the partnerships and collaborations, they can contact me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Prophet ONYE, Prophet Anye. And we'll love to, help people. We do that every day. Again, we mentioned everybody that's ever done work with us, they walked away.
To money.
Profitable.
Yeah, that's what, we want to leave people. We want to leave people better than we found them. You know what I'm saying? That's big to us because it goes with their reputation. And then when people are talking of or speaking of you, they can't say nothing.
Holly.
Yeah.
You made money with me, you know?
You can't say nothing bad.
So tell me this real quick before we head out. Building signs. So you big on building signs. Is this something you even worried about from a building perspective?
From building signs?
Yeah.
Like, signage?
No, science. Like
science.
Yeah, like
so, stuff is definitely evolving. Like the energy efficiency thing is real. I think with solar too, we're going to have to see more of that. You see what's going on in Texas. We have these 100-degree, 101-degree days.
Oh, yeah.
The weather change is real. So we're going to have to see a transition to more carbon neutral forms of making and generating electricity. So to go hand in hand with building science, you're going to see, new technology come to play, especially like when it comes to roofing and sheathing, how we have more energy efficient homes. I believe in spending money too in that area because it relates directly to your water bill, your light bill, things like that. So it's going to be a big deal across the country. I mean, even on a federal level, there's some tax incentives you can get the more energy efficiently you build a home.
I know the stuff that I'm building. I have researched that specifically. So the people who do happen to buy some of the ones that I may sell, they're gonna be some lucky campers because they're gonna have some very energy efficient buildings.
And that's huge. That's huge. That helps. That not only helps the environment, but just their experience as a homeowner.
Absolutely.
They're able to be in a space where they're not paying like $600 electric bills. You know,
a lot of that right now.
Oh, it's crazy right now. You know, electricity is kind of like at all-time high price right now. With
that
the
AC blowing.
Yeah.
The Mexican go is 80.
Bruh. Yeah, it's hard right now. But yeah, you bring up great points about the energy efficiency.
So what's next, man? What's next for you, man?
So what's next for us? You know, we're known primarily for building the duplexes, but I'm like, you know, it's time to step it up a little bit, and we're gonna try to get into the 5+ world, building like, you know, trying to submit 8-unit projects at first, maybe larger. You know, obviously partnering with other people too that are like-minded. I got some good friends and people I know that always, you know, on the cusp of wanting to get into a project together, and I think that's a big thing too that I learned when it comes to real estate investing is, man, you got to partner with like-minded people and investors. When it comes to realtors, appraisers, whatever kind of background you have, one thing in my experience, I've seen the best ones always are real estate investors. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best realtors or agents, always real estate investors. The best
real estate
builders,
investors first.
The best builders are real estate investors. It just goes hand in hand.
Well, at the end of the day, they know outside of theory. Most of the and that's another thing on you know, No Stingy Energy on our clubhouse rooms. We real big on, if you gonna speak, we need you to be speaking from experience.
Facts. Yeah,
not theory.
Yeah, not theory.
Because everything work in theory.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can build.
I read a book in
exactly.
You can build a city
or infomercials right now. I mean, you know, you see a lot right now with just infomercials and people telling you what you can do.
Yeah.
Look, everybody was a hero from 2016 to 2020 when the market was running and friendly to everybody. But those transactions dried up.
Yeah,
that changed.
I want to know how many you done. And then show me how to do what you did.
Exactly.
Not what you can theoretically tell me. Anybody can do that, man.
Right.
I be like, shut up, man.
That's big facts.
Respectfully.
Yep. That's big facts. Yep.
Man, I appreciate you for stopping by, man.
Man, no,
listen,
thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely.
It's solid.
Hey, it was beautiful, man. I learned a lot.
What's your Instagram handle for anybody who wants to connect with you?
At Profit, PROFITONYE. Profit Anye. So you can find me there. You know, we
shoot your DM.
Yeah, shoot me a DM.
You answer your DMs?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I honestly do. I do.
I'm getting better. Pray for me.
So, yeah.
Well, man, that was another good one, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
man.
y'all.
And with that being said, man, let's make sure you rate, comment, subscribe, share the information. Don't have stingy, man.
Facts.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
All right.
That was good,
man. Y'all experts at this, man. Y'all like some producers and y'all. I was just rolling with y'all.